And hello, everyone. It's Fred Staub and Les Jackson. We are getting ready to do a brand new hour, 2 hour show, and we are excited to be on cruise control. Les, we're going to talk about Ford making $1 billion, over $1 billion in profit, and the two vehicles. Well, one is out, but the other one is not even out yet. So we're talking about Ford Lightning and Ford Bronco. Pretty wild, right?
It's wild. I got to sit in the new Lightning this week.
What you think?
Just sat, didn't drive. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge hit. I think they have 120,000 orders for it already.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we'll also talk about electric muscle. There's a report out that the Camaro will be replaced by a performance electric sedan. Remember those things called sedans?
Yes. Yeah, they were sort of low and easy to get into.
Yeah, they had 4 doors, so we'll talk about
trunk.
that. And then Mitsubishi gets great crash scores. It's a vehicle I'm actually going to get next week, I believe, and that's kind of exciting, even though I won't be testing out that crashability.
That is cool. And one of the states is building a road that'll charge your car at highway speeds.
Yeah, that's pretty cool technology, and certainly that would mean unlimited range virtually.
Absolutely.
You're going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Genesis G80, right?
The superb Genesis G80.
Yeah.
Can't get much better.
No, that is pretty cool stuff, so we'll be checking that out. And then in the second hour, we're going to talk about some major markups. Dealers are at it again, and 2 very different vehicles. We'll just tease it with that. Also, some new vehicles will have subscription-based options, so we'll talk about that. Kind of a change for the auto industry.
It is. It is. And again, the used car prices are crazy.
Yeah, will they ever go down? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
In 6 months maybe.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that and tell you about that. And then I'll have a review of the minivan that's not a minivan. It's a minivan that's trying to look like an SUV. It's the Kia Carnival, and I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a good vehicle. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more when we get rolling. On this edition of Cruise Control, we thank you if you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, and we will be right back with the show.
This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
And hello out there in Radio Land. Welcome to Cruise Control. This is your on-air automotive magazine, as it always is. And we are always what is too, if that makes sense. I'm Les Jackson.
And I'm Fred Staub.
Yes, indeed. And we have, as usual, plenty of information from the auto industry. We've got reviews coming. We'll let you know. In fact, right now.
Yeah, we sure will, Les. We're going to talk about Ford making $1 billion, over $1 billion of profits, thanks to the F-150 Lightning and the Bronco. Now, Bronco is barely out, and F-150 Lightning is still coming. So imagine when they get to dealers.
Oh, boy. Dealers are crying these days. But anyway, electric muscle is on the way. Could the Camaro be replaced by a performance EV sedan? I say yes. And Dodge confirms its two muscle models are going to get plugged in.
Yeah. So the sound of performance is going to change, and that would be interesting.
That's right.
And Mitsubishi gets great crash scores, and Subaru prices out its BRZ. You know, that's one of the vehicles we love. And doesn't get much love when it comes to sales, but we'll talk about that.
That's true. And talking tech, batteries that are structural components in the highway. One state is building a road that is going to inductively charge your car as you're driving along at highway speed.
Yeah, that is cool. Range anxiety will just be a thing of the past, Les. People just won't know what it means. Plus, you are going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Genesis G80. What you think of it, Les?
If I could have stolen it, I would have. Honestly.
Well, that's pretty cool. And we're going to have all that coming up on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's Fred Staub and Les Jackson with you, as we always are. We're glad to be here. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. You can like us on Facebook, check us out on YouTube, all that and more. And we're going to start this hour with a big story for Ford. I think Ford is probably digging the electric future, wouldn't you say?
Sure looks like it. They've tapped in to what I'm sure, and they're sure, is the future. And as I mentioned earlier, I got a chance to have lunch with the Ford people this week.
Yeah.
Sit in the new Lightning electric and the Mach-E.
What stuck out about the Lightning?
these are, well, it's every bit, a real, honest to goodness, heavy duty Ford truck
Yeah.
with 1,000 foot-pounds of torque.
Wow. So that is a torque number that would be a great torque number for a diesel engine. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
some of the diesels don't even have that. And this is an electric vehicle. What do you think of the frunk?
Oh, we had a lot of fun with the frunk.
Do you shove people in there?
It's very accessible. The hood lifts beautifully. They actually had it filled with iced beverages.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly practical.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge hit, and we have numbers to back that up. It was announced this week that Ford made $1.1 billion in profit in 3 months, and it was thanks mainly to 3 vehicles, the F-150 Lightning. They have 120,000 reservations for this after being unveiled in May. And then, of course, the Mach-E is the second best-selling electric vehicle out there. Basically, people have rediscovered the Ford brand. I see it even around town here. People that would never buy a Ford, some would say, is Ford still in business?
Yeah.
I've seen Mach-E's. People love it. I mean, what do you think of the Mach-E? You were right up close with it.
I honestly, Fred, if I were in the market, I would buy one.
Wow.
It's much more than I even expected it to be.
And the great thing is the doors work and everything. Bumpers stay on.
The paint finish looks good. Everything fits.
Long-time listeners to Cruise Control know what we're talking about here.
Yep.
It's that other electric car company that sometimes kind of makes it up as you see it going down the road. You look behind it and you go, "Wow, that's crooked." Yeah, that is great. Well, imagine that. The other vehicle that has done very well for them is the Bronco, and it. If I can get, I have some shots of the Bronco here. If we can play them. Well, there's the F-150
there's
Lightning.
the F-150.
Yeah. So the F-150, and of course the Mach-E have done it all for them. F-150. There's the frunk. You can. What's the storage like in that frunk up front in the F-150?
It's pretty good, pretty substantial, and the hood is hinged in such a way you would think when it lifts up that your head would hit the edge.
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't. It lifts not quite vertically.
Uh-huh.
But they thought that out.
Oh, that's cool. Now, the other vehicle that is doing well for them is the Bronco, which we'll have a shot of in a moment. And that, of course, has just kind of come out, and people have a hard time even getting it, and it's still creating big profit for them.
Well, it's big demand, overdue.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bronco Sport, of course, is delightful.
Yeah. Now, here's other news for them. In China, the Lincoln brand has been ranked number 1 in J.D. Power's 2021 China Sales Satisfaction Index study. So it is good news all around. It is kind of funny that in China they're still probably buying cars and not all SUVs, but we only get the SUVs in the U.S.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. But if it's an SUV like the Mach-E, I don't think you mind, right? What was your take on it? They say it is a Mustang through and through, and you're a guy that's owned many Mustangs and restored some. What do you think?
You get in it, and it's a Mustang.
Okay.
I'm not being paid to say that. It's a Mustang. I've owned Mustangs, driven scores of them. It's a Mustang.
I can't wait to drive the F-150 Lightning. I hear it is incredibly fast and good, and I'm just excited about it.
I came this close
to driving.
I almost had them talked into letting me drive it down North Capitol Street in Washington.
And then they were like,
and they said, "You're going to get a ticket, aren't you?" I said, "Yes." So they said no.
Oh, boy. Well, more electric vehicle news. No surprise here. There's a big report this week that Chevy may be doing away with the Camaro. No surprise there, Les Jackson.
No.
That has not done well in sales and continues to fall in sales, and they may replace it with an EV muscle sedan. I've got a crazy idea. Here's a crazy idea. Want to hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Call the four-door sedan the GTO. What about that?
You know, that's pretty good.
What else are you going to call it? The Chevelle?
I was thinking of Z28E.
No, that's interesting. That's interesting. Well, there's talk about this, and it continues over at Dodge because the Dodge CEO confirmed that the Brotherhood of Muscle, as Dodge is known, will become electric. And it was reported when Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares said, will the Dodge Viper come back as an EV? He said the Charger and the Challenger, absolutely yes, but he remained silent about the Viper. So that is a great way to ask a question, isn't it?
It is, but is there a market for a Dodge sports car?
For the electric to turn Charger and Challenger electric? I think yes. And I think, though, it has to be over 1,000 horsepower. And that's what they'll do. They'll sell it on 1,000. The key word, remember, we had some people on from Dodge a few weeks ago, and I said, how are you going to make that exciting sound? And he said engineers are working on that. So I'm kind of interested to see what they come up with. I mean, certainly the performance will be there and even better than what you get now with, let's say, a Hellcat engine. But what will the sound be like? And it's all about sound, especially when it comes to Dodge products. So what do you think they'll do?
They can create it.
Create it electronically?
Yeah, inside the car.
What about outside the car? It needs to make a sound.
Well, do you really want to?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think maybe some people do. But I don't know whether you would make it sound like an engine or give it, psychologically, what are the cool parts of the sound from internal combustion engines, the raspiness, the roughness that you might want to put into an electric sound. We'll have to see. I don't know. I think that will be one of the things to overcome, but that's not the big thing. I think they can overcome the range. I think they can. The performance will be astronomical. I think you're going to see 0 to 60 times in the 2.5 second 3 range.
Yep.
And as I said, 1,000 horsepower, 1,000. They'll do 1,000 and 1,000. 1,000 horsepower, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I can certainly see it.
Yeah, I do think they'll still keep rating the cars with horsepower. I know Cadillac started rating them with torque. I think they'll stick with horsepower just because you need something to compare it.
Actually, that's easy to do, and in engineering terms, horsepower is always rated in watts and kilowatts.
Uh-huh.
And it was James Watt who invented the word horsepower.
Interesting. So it's all in the family, right?
It's all same thing. 743 watts is 1 horsepower.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk more about some great models you can get right now, including Mitsubishi. So stay tuned.
Me.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back. Welcome back to Cruise Control. Les and Fred here. I am one of them. And we told you at the beginning of the show we were going to tell you what's going on at Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
It turns out it's a lot.
Yeah, good news for them this week, Les. They say they have the newest lineup of any manufacturer. And we're talking about this vehicle, which got some great safety ratings this week. It is the 2022 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. I'm going to be getting this vehicle next week, so I'm kind of excited about it. They've upgraded it, and for 2022, Les, they introduced a redesigned sporty look. They've kind of changed the back around, you know, where it had that glass with the bar. There was a back window, then a bar, then glass underneath. I don't know if that's ever been popular. It was on Honda
don't think
Insights,
so.
and I always felt it was kind of in the way. So they've changed that to a more traditional shape, and they've added a lot of standard safety features, and that's probably why they got great numbers, including forward collision mitigation with pedestrian safety. Additional safety equipment includes automatic high beam assist headlamps. If you've ever used them, you're going to want a vehicle with them.
Yep.
It is amazing. It is great. And then rain sensing wipers, which are available on the LE, SE, and SEL trim. They also, worth noting, and I don't think they tout this that much, but they have a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty, a 5-year, 60,000-mile transferable new vehicle limited warranty, and a 7-year, 100,000-mile anti-corrosion perforation limited warranty, and a 5-year unlimited miles roadside assistance. That's pretty good news for buyers, isn't it?
That's impressive. Only Hyundai and Kia do that.
Yeah. Good-looking vehicle. We'll put it to the tests once we get it. Be coming in on Monday, and we'll check that out. It's a good pick. I think a lot of people maybe don't think about Mitsubishi, and they build some good cars, and they really have a lot of new, refreshed vehicles in their lineup, don't they?
They do. I'm anxious to get into them.
Yeah. We should talk about, while we're on Mitsubishi, we should talk about the fact that they're going to have a new plug-in hybrid. They've put out a couple of teaser photos. These teaser photos, well, I guess that gives you a little bit more than what you're normally used to, but it will have improved motor output, increased battery pack over the current model, more performance, road performance, and greater driving range. And it's based on a new platform, integrated components, and optimized layout. It will accommodate 7 passengers in 3 rows, offering a new level of comfort and utility. The Outlander PHEV, it debuted in 2013. Took them a while to bring it to the U.S., but I think this could be this could be something that people would consider and probably don't really know about. And that's one of the things we like to do on Cruise Control is make you aware of some vehicles that you should be aware of. And I'm excited to see this. I wonder if we'll see this at the New York Auto Show. We'll have to see. I don't know,
Yep.
Les, what it's going to be like. I mean, the Chicago Auto Show, I would say, was quiet, but it was just people were just happy to be back.
Yeah, but of course, we're seeing these rises in cases.
Yeah.
I think the media days will be.
It's a media day.
The media day will be very much like it used to be. I don't know about the public days.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if people will go. I think there's some hardcore people that will go, but I don't know. We'll have to see. That's coming up in August, and we'll be covering that on Cruise Control. So, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Les, I know you are a fan of Bentley, aren't you?
Yes, I have several.
Well, you don't have the hybrid model yet. Bentley is getting into the hybrid world with their Flying Spur model, and it is quite impressive. You look at what this vehicle looks like. It is over-the-top luxury, really. Has a combined power of 536 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque, and power is provided by a 2.9-liter gas-powered V6 and an advanced electric motor. It's called the Flying Spur Hybrid ASEAN. It looks like Odyssey. ASEAN Edition. I guess that's how it's said. It will have a focus on sustainability. On the inside, there'll be open-pore Koa veneer fascias and waist rails, and it will use 90% less lacquer than high-gloss veneers. So they're kind of thinking of this as being more sustainable across the lineup. There'll be lamb's wool rugs. It will have 21-inch 10 twin-spoke wheels. It's just going to be gorgeous. You would make a statement showing up in that. Interesting. Mm-hmm. It is the first time they are getting a hybrid. It's going to be pretty quick though, and it will be 4.1 seconds, 0 to 100 kilometers. Pretty impressive for this vehicle.
That's fast.
Motors adding basically 95 horsepower. So I just think it has a leather headliner. Imagine that.
Okay.
3-dimensional diamond leather upholstery. Look at that upholstery. That is incredible. Look at that.
I'll bet it's comfortable.
I bet it's expensive.
Bet you're right.
Yeah. So, will we get to test that? I don't know. Maybe sometime. I look forward to seeing it, though. It's going to be beautiful, and we will tell you more about it on Cruise Control. Hey, coming up, we got plenty more to get to. We're going to talk tech, including batteries that are structural components. And one state is building a road that will charge your car at highway speeds. So stay tuned.
Yep.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. We're glad you're along for the ride. Lot to get to, Les. I know you've been going through the configurator for that Bentley Flying Spur hybrid during the break.
Yeah, I can't decide on the gold trim or the diamonds.
Well, I'll let you work that out, but we're going to talk about this vehicle. This is one that you and I love. We love this vehicle, the Subaru Brz. Of course, it's also known as the Toyota 86 with slight changes. This is you look at the front of that vehicle, it looks sort of like a Porsche, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it
does.
So you would think, does it have Porsche prices? Well, let's talk about it, because this week Subaru released pricing on the BRZ for 2022. Remember, this is a rear drive sports car. It's going to have more power, more precise handling, and a refined design. It is the second generation. It's powered by a 2.4 naturally aspirated 228 horsepower Subaru Boxer. You can get it with the 6-speed manual or a 6-speed electronic direct control automatic. So one of the last cars offered with a manual, right, Les?
Getting pretty rare.
Yeah. New for 2022, tire pressure monitoring system, which allows 2 sets of wheels to be registered, ID registered. This is great. You take a track day or you have summer tires. You don't have to reset those pressure sensors, right?
That's right. That's cool.
Yeah. It's going to have stability control with a track mode, 17-inch alloy wheels in a dark gray finish. It is going to have dual-zone automatic climate control, incline start assist, heated exterior power mirrors, power fuel door lock, power windows with auto up-down, a new center console storage box with USB ports, very important. Everyone's got to have their USB port, and an auxiliary input jack, less important, but some people still look for them. Variable intermittent windshield wipers. As a first, too, if you get the automatic transmission, you can get their eyesight safety system, which will allow the braking and the adaptive cruise control and things like that. I have to say, it would make me want to get the automatic because I like all those things. The adaptive cruise control.
Yeah,
it's the first time it's equipped with this eyesight, which includes, just let's run them down: adaptive cruise control, pre-collision braking system, lane departure, sway warning. Not that you'll get a lot of sway in a BRZ unless you're towing a 30-foot trailer. What do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty rare.
Yeah. Lead vehicle start alert. I will tell you about that in a minute. And automatic transmission option will also add high beam assist to both trim levels. Okay, so let's talk about the pricing. It starts with the optional automatic transmission. It's priced at $29,595. And they have a couple of different models. The Premium, which is $27,995 with a manual, and the Premium comes with the 6-speed auto. It's $29,595. And the Limited, which is not that much more of a step up, the manual's $30,495, $32,295. Those numbers are before destination. But I think that's a pretty cool vehicle for that price point. I think it's very sporty. I think the front end looks like a mini Porsche. It's a car you could track and have fun with, and then have a good time on the road. It is, of course, the only Subaru without all-wheel drive, right?
It is the only one.
Yeah, so cool vehicle. Now, we were talking about I'll kind of do some dramatic foreshadowing of my review. It talked about lead vehicle start alert. Have you experienced this on any of your press cars? Because I did, and it's great.
Not yet, or at least I didn't realize it.
Well, what it is, and I have a Kia Carnival review coming up. What it is you're sitting at a light, and if the car in front of you moves, it sends a message that said the car in front of you has moved. It is really handy. It is really handy. I was really impressed with it. I'd never seen it before, and the first time I experienced it was on this Kia Carnival, and I think it's a good little thing. I don't know. I think it's good, and it might save somebody honking their horn. Although where I am, if you don't move away from the light, they're blowing the horn. You know, they got to see smoke coming off the rear tires and a power squat in the front wheels in the air. Otherwise, they're like blowing the horn.
Yeah, exactly. Same here.
So I don't know, but I think it's good. I think it's a good thing, and I think we will see more of it. Let's talk about this. Let's talk a little tech. How's that sound?
Good idea.
Okay, so Volvo has revealed a new structural battery design that is, they're developing this with a company in Sweden called Northvolt that could deliver 600 miles or more of travel between charges. And the idea now is that they will build it into the structure of the vehicle. So there's no replacing it. Obviously, when the battery goes bad, you have to recycle the car, but it is sort of like a monocoque type construction, and these batteries will actually be used to provide structural rigidity, and this has been done before with internal combustion engines and all of that. They make it a structural component, right?
Well, as a matter of fact, the XKE Jaguar was basically the body was bracketed onto the engine.
Okay, so that's what they're talking about here.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense. I mean, GM has sort of gone with a different approach with these pouch batteries that I think they tuck inside structural components, but the structural component actually provides the structure. But the battery is kind of hidden in this dead space or void to fill up the space. But what they're talking about here is you could have a cross member that's also a battery. As I said, it's weirdly analogous, Les. It's weirdly analogous to new cell phones where the battery is part of the cell phone. When the battery dies, you get a new cell phone. Unlike the old days where you could go out and buy a new battery and clip it on the back of it, right?
But the question is, how long does this battery last?
I guess they just have to make it last 10 years.
Oh, it's got to be more than that, probably 20.
I mean, don't these batteries have a charge-discharge number on them?
Yeah.
And I guess it also depends if you're using rapid charging and putting a lot of heat into the battery or if you're just basically trickle charging. Who knows? But a new type of structural battery was revealed last September by Tesla CEO Elon Musk, and that was going to power the Model Y. It bonds hundreds of large format cylindrical cells together with structural adhesive, then sandwiches them between two metal sheets that are designed to attach to help stiffen the body and chassis.
And some 2x4s and some duct tape.
Home Depot aisle 12. Some hinges from some doors and things like that. Yeah, whatever you got, you just go out and find some hardware. I think this is the wave of the future, though. The car is the battery. As I said, the folks that think you're gonna pull a battery out and put another one in, that's just not going to happen. I think.
No, that can't be the end all.
No, exactly. And then you talk about the situation where in Indiana they've built a road where you can go down the road and there are strips in the road and it will recharge your vehicle as you drive at highway speeds. What do you think of that?
I hope this happens everywhere.
Uh-huh. I mean,
it answers everybody's concerns.
do you think what they'll do is this will be part of the toll? Like you can charge your car for the next, I don't know. You'd have to do it for a long distance, I would imagine. Like 100 miles or something.
Yeah. Well, your car would have the computer technology to monitor how much electricity it's using, and then you just get billed for it.
Yeah. Well, this is from the Indiana Department of Transportation, or INDOT, which I like that. I think that's kind of a fun acronym, and Purdue University. It's part of their Aspire initiative, and that stands for Advancing Sustainability Through Power Infrastructure for Road Electrification. And very, very new. They're building a quarter-mile stretch of highway in an undisclosed location. I always love that when they say that. For real-world testing on heavy trucks at 200 kilowatts and above. And if it's successful, they'll build another section of what they call the Magment Highway. I think this is a real plus, and it could be a way for states to make money and, of course, replace the gas tax. What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean,
because, they do have to collect road tax, and why not do this?
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Well, that's a couple of interesting talking tech segments on cruise control. This is another interesting one. I have to get this in here. Because we talk about electricity and that's the way to go in that, but the Scotch whiskey company, Glenfiddich. Do you ever have any of that Scotch whiskey?
Glenlivet.
Is that how it's said? It's
Glenlivet.
Glenfiddich.
Oh, Glenfiddich. I'm sorry, that's the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've placed orders for the Tesla semi-truck or Rivian's upcoming delivery van, but they also have another idea. And they are using the grains that were used to ferment the Scotch whiskey. Normally, that's sent off to cows. I guess cows must really enjoy it. Wow, these grains taste incredible. But
good place to be a cow.
Good place to be a cow. Yeah, it's like, hey, here's your feed. Okay, but they're instead of just getting rid of this stuff, these grains, they are creating biogas from it, and it cuts CO2 emissions by over 95% compared to diesel. And they can use it in a diesel engine. Isn't that cool?
That's great.
Yeah. So
keep working at it.
Keep working at it. Amazing to use basically waste liquid and turn it into a biogas fuel. Although I think probably the cows are disappointed, aren't you?
That would make pretty good hamburger.
Oh boy!
I'm just thinking of all the uses for the cow.
All right. Well, when we come back, we are going to talk about
cruise control.
We're going to talk about a review that you have, right? What are you going to be reviewing?
The Genesis G80 all-wheel drive.
All right. More when we come back.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control. I, Fred, would like to tell you about my experience in the 2021 Genesis G80.
Wow. That's a beautiful car.
It's honestly, it's one of the best cars in the world, hands down. This was the G80 all-wheel drive 3.5T Prestige model.
Oh, that's cool.
In fact, it was finished in this beautiful Himalayan gray.
Okay. Is that similar to the one we're seeing now?
It's a grayer version of that.
Okay.
Beautiful, darker tan interior.
Mm-hmm.
Just the quality of the materials is extraordinary inside. I would venture to say it's almost Rolls-Royce level.
Wow, that is a big name to drop there, Les.
It's a big thing, and you get with the car, you get 3 years of complimentary maintenance. You get complimentary service valet.
Okay.
You get complimentary map care.
What does that mean? In other words,
it's updating your nav system for free.
That's good because that can
because
be.
They're starting to charge for that, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, what is this car like? Well, it's a full-size sedan. You know.
I remember those.
Yeah. 5 people seated. Oh boy, very comfortably.
Yep.
And inside, it's just so quiet. It has double thickness glass.
Wow.
Everything is so well thought out. These seats are Napa leather. It's just a brand name.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 12.5-inch instrument cluster.
Mm-hmm.
Heads-up display. I'm seeing more and more of this. Love it. Suede headliner.
Ooh, that's nice.
Oh, yes. Front passenger seat, walk-in device.
What does that mean?
Well, if you were in one of these, right?
Yeah, I was in the G80 not that long ago.
When you get in, the seat momentarily lowers itself and goes back.
Wow.
So you can just sort of turn around and sit.
Yeah.
This is one of the options, by the way.
That's a good option, I think.
I loved it. My wife loved it. Our neighbors loved it. It has a special ergo motion seat. These are all the only options you can get.
Mm-hmm.
The surround view mirror.
I love
the
that.
digital mirror, terrific.
Yeah.
Smart parking assist remote.
Did you use that? I never really used those things.
I did. It scares the people to death who are standing around.
Was that the one where you're out of the car?
Yeah, you're out and you just say, "Come to me."
Did you? How'd it work?
Works great.
Wow.
It's foolproof. You can't get in trouble.
It's not going to drive off on you, leave you stranded?
No, it won't do that. It's powered by a 3.5-liter V6, 375 horsepower.
Okay.
It's quite quick. 8-speed automatic. Electronically controlled suspension. These are all standard.
Wow.
Beautiful, beautiful ride. If you want it to have kind of a European harsh, stiff ride, you can do it. But if you just wanted to soak up the bumps and treat you like you're in your living room, no problem.
You know, that's one of the things I noticed about that and the G90. It was like driving in the regular mode or normal mode or whatever they call it. It was like driving a luxury car from the past, which, okay, I'll probably get hate mail for this, but I liked that soft, comfortable, lulling ride. Does that make me bad?
I want to be, if I'm on a racetrack or on a country road, I want to be in touch with the road. If I'm everywhere else, I want to be isolated from the road.
Yeah, on the highway, taking a trip, you're putting mile after mile in, and it's just a non-twisty road that is just, going by. You just want to be comfortable.
Exactly. It has a panoramic sunroof, which everyone liked.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of sunroofs. I just don't use
them.
Well,
I don't like sunroofs per se, but at night, looking out, it's great. Every option you can imagine other than the ones I mentioned, every safety feature you can possibly come up with, it's got. Warranty is 5-year, 60,000 miles, 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain, because of course it's a Hyundai.
Right. I was going to say we have to mention that it is a luxury brand from Hyundai.
Right. Now, only bad side is it takes premium fuel and mileage not so great.
It's a big, heavy car.
Big, heavy car. It's 18 city, 26 highway.
Okay.
Not great.
What did you see?
I was doing 16 city and maybe 20 to 21 on the highway.
Yeah.
My right foot kept slamming to the floor. I don't understand it, but it happened. And of course, it's not cheap.
Okay, but it's not as expensive as, let's say, a Mercedes or
it's
BMW.
It's every bit the car that a Mercedes, BMW, or Audi is, but at 2/3 the price. 62, 250 is base. The option package was 5,400.
Okay.
Delivery, 1,000.
But that's standard nowadays.
Yeah, so 69, 195.
Now, if you had to buy this car and it was like a BMW or Mercedes, I think it would be at least 20,000 higher.
Easily. It'd be 100,000.
Well, when I had it, I always have discussions, as you do, with the neighbors in the driveway. And I said, would you be okay not having that mark, that Mercedes mark or the BMW mark, and just buying this car and driving it and appreciating all the luxury and features of this car? And most said yes, that they're just looking for a nice car. But I think some people would be like, I don't know. But I think they're some of the best cars out there now, both their SUVs, the GV80 that you and I have driven, and I've driven the G90 and the G80, and I look forward to get into the G70 when it becomes available. Of course, we should mention this G80 is going to be electric, right? It's been selected to be one of the electric vehicles. It will make a great electric vehicle.
It will. It's just a magnificent car.
Yeah. I think Genesis has been firing on all cylinders, or using all their electrons, if you like. I think they really are building such a good brand and good quality products. And when I drove the G90, I thought I haven't experienced a car like this in a long time. And I kind of felt the same for the G80 too. They're very, very close. But would you agree? I just haven't felt that there's been a big, nice comfortable to drive sedan with a great ride quality, all the luxury features. And this one, I mean, while not cheap, it is certainly more affordable than the other similar vehicles.
And it's going to require very little maintenance. Incredibly safe, 5-star rating. Just they're great cars.
Yeah, they really are. And as we said, they're going to have a GV70 too, the smaller version of the GV80. So they're building it out, and I think they're going to even have a sporty car at some point, probably electric. But cool stuff, Les Jackson. Hey, we appreciate you listening to Cruise Control. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. Check out our YouTube page, our Facebook page, and more. I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les
Cruise
Jackson.
Control Radio is your on-air automotive magazine. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com for more information. We'll see you down the road.
Bye.
Hey, it's Fred Staub. Plumney coming up in the second hour of Cruise Control. We are going to talk about major markups from dealers adding big bucks to the window sticker of two very different cars. We'll talk about that. Mercedes says some of its new technology will be available only by subscription. And if you think about what they've done with, hey Les, you're back. We're doing a little tease. We're doing a little tease here.
Okay.
So some of the technology from Mercedes will be available only via subscription. We'll talk about that. One of the things is the rear steering will be optional. So we'll talk about that. The price of used cars continues to skyrocket. So if you're on the market for a used car, I think it's a big shock. Many people have called me and said, I'm shocked about prices. And then you explain to them the whole...
Just for the heck of it, I've been looking at prices of like 2016, 2015, middle-of-the-road cars.
Yeah.
Kia Optima, Mazda 6. And they're all like $18,000.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that. And then what's in a name? One manufacturer goes all in on alphanumeric nameplates, while another one...
No.
Yeah, but another one, Les, that always had alphanumeric nameplates is going back to names. Matter of fact, it's only had a few named vehicles. We'll tell you about that. We're also going to look at some new models set for introduction at the New York Auto Show. Auto Show's making a comeback, huh?
Sure is. A lot of people were asking me this week if we were going to the New York show. I said, well, Fred is, because he's there.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with it, too. It's about almost a month away, or a little under a month away. So we'll see as things continue to change out there. And then we'll look at this new vehicle that says, don't call me a minivan, but it is a minivan. This is the Kia Carnival. I'll have an at-the-wheel review of that. They call it an MPV or something like that, but it's really a minivan. And I think it should be proud that it's a minivan, although I think they're trying to hide it. It's a very luxurious minivan. Of course, they've tried to make it look more SUV-like, as you can see there. I love the gray paint and the black wheels.
It's a nice color.
Yeah, it almost looked like a Ford Flex or a Ford Expedition a little bit, except for if you look at the door handles. They are, of course, just like a minivan. That's a sliding door. Imagine if they put the door handle on the other side, it would have you could have almost pulled off the SUV look-alike. Or maybe no door handle on the back door and have a button or something. I don't know. But it's so funny. I mean, I'll probably get hate mail for this, but let's face it. Most families need a minivan. They don't need a SUV.
I agree.
They really would be best served by one of these because they are great. The only thing I didn't like about it, the rear seats, when you fold them, they are not damped. And they have the seat belt in the seat, and that thing came down on me because it wasn't locked and hit me in the jaw. It was like getting punched in the jaw. So, but the bad is certainly outweighed by the good. We'll talk about that and more when we come back at the second hour of Cruise Control, so stay tuned.
This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
Hello, everyone. It's that time again to head out on the road and start looking around at what's going on in the automotive world. Welcome. You're on Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson.
I am.
Yeah. Big week in the industry, Les. And we start with an interesting story about something that annoys me, but it's common these days, especially with the chip shortage and the tight supply of cars. Major markups at dealers. They're adding big bucks to window stickers, and in this week on two very, very different vehicles. One you wouldn't expect would ever have a markup.
I have the same attitude you do about that, and basically that dealer would never see me again. Anyway.
No.
Mercedes, and this is a trend I don't like, but it's there. So some of its new technology will only be available through subscription.
Yeah, that's kind of getting like software, so I think we might be seeing more of that. And also, the price of used cars continues to skyrocket. You were doing a little research on that. We'll talk about it. It's a big surprise if you're on the market for a used car. You'll be surprised, won't you?
Don't buy one.
Yeah, try not to buy anything right now.
Don't buy anything. What's in the name? Well, one manufacturer is going to all alphanumeric nameplates, which you and I, well, don't care for. How's that for being tactful?
Yeah, when we say alphanumeric, we mean,
like
the T1000.
G70, whatever. Well, another manufacturer breaks tradition and will use full model names.
Yeah, this is a manufacturer that has very rarely used full model names, and we'll tell you about both of them. It's kind of a fun story. We'll also look at some new models set for introduction at the New York Auto Show. The auto show circuit is slowly coming back. We had a Chicago Auto Show,
Yep.
not a big show. It will be interesting to see what happens with the New York show. Predictions, Les Jackson?
I predict big crowds for part of it, and then it'll taper off quickly.
Okay. All right. So we will see if that prediction is true. And then I'll have an at-the-wheel review of a vehicle that, well, it's a minivan, but Kia wishes to call it an MPV, a multi-purpose vehicle. It is the brand new Kia Carnival. I think this thing could take off for the minivan market. Beautiful luxury.
Yeah, I agree.
But if people smell minivan, they might get upset. They've made it look like an SUV on the outside. On the inside, it's very luxurious. All the creature features, all kinds of cool stuff inside. Very luxurious. They just do such a good job with their interiors. I wonder why other manufacturers just can't do a good job with their interiors. But
yeah, it's a handsome car.
Yeah, handsome.
You
car.
just can't call it a minivan.
Don't call me a minivan. All right. Well, that is all coming up on Cruise Control. We will be right back. I'm Fred Staub. He's Les Jackson. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrol.com.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Les and Fred here. You know, okay, I have to be kind to the business people, but unfortunately, if you're out looking for a new car or a used one, you could easily become the victim of overpricing.
Yes.
How's that for putting it tactfully?
Yeah, or market-based adjustment. The little add-on sticker. It's like going to the store and you're like, ooh, there's a television and it's $399, and you take it up to check out. Oh, it's not $399, it's $799. We added some value to it because 4 people came in this week and were interested in it, right?
Yeah. This has happened in the past with highly demand cars, but never just everything.
And it's been done. It's also been done by people like, for example, if you buy a Corvette, a C8, you can buy it probably at an inflated price and then just sell it for $30,000 or $40,000 more. There's a whole market. People are just buying them and selling them, flipping them. So, well, let's get into our first case, and this might make a little sense because it is the Ford Bronco, but the price won't. And this is not a dealer doing this, I don't think. No, it is. Okay, this is on eBay actually. A few weeks ago, a dealership in California was selling the first edition Bronco for $79,115. But then there's another one on eBay, similar, that costs $100,000 more than that. The first edition Bronco has an MSRP of $62,605. So the price was marked up by the seller by $95,885. The seller hadn't taken delivery of the Bronco yet, so they're pricing this out to flip. And they have a Bronco first edition ordered from a dealer in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, in this case, it is not the dealer doing this. This is a person that has ordered it through the dealer and is now waiting delivery. It is a 4-door Bronco first edition in lightning blue. It also comes with a hood and side body graphics, leather seats, high clearance suspension, 12-inch touchscreen, 10-speaker stereo, heated steering wheel, and a twin turbocharged 2.7 liter V6 engine.
Would you buy this?
Not at that price. I would wait a couple of years and then just buy it at a normal price. I would never do that. I would never be happy with the vehicle if I did that, ever.
It makes you want to sort of hope this guy gets stuck with the Bronco and can't sell it.
You know he won't, though. You know he won't.
No.
He won't get stuck with that. He will certainly make money on it, and he will certainly I'm sure be very happy with what he gets, right?
I hope so for him. But it's just silly.
Yeah, is definitely silly. Well, if you think that's silly, Les Jackson, there's more. But wait, there's more.
Oh, good.
Yeah, wait, there is more. And it involves this car. Yes, the Mitsubishi Mirage in this lovely color here.
Sorta.
This is a $14,000 car to start at, right? And you can get it for $14,295, and that's fine. I mean, it's a good car. It has some modern safety features. And if you just need a new set of wheels, I would say this is better than perhaps buying an overpriced used car. But here's the thing. One dealer, the name of the dealer, this should give you a thing. It's called Old Ben Franklin Motors.
Of course.
I would if I saw that, I would move away quickly. Just
I think it should be called Old Ben Shyster Motors.
Yeah, that's right. Well, this is interesting. This vehicle was marked up. They're based in Tennessee, and the model that they're selling of this 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage, the sticker on it is $18,265, but the market adjusted value, isn't that just a meaningless term, has increased the price by $5,595, bringing it to $24,260. That is about a third of the original.
It's
insulting.
Folks. It's insulting. It's disgusting.
And just don't do it.
Yeah, if there's any possible way not to buy anything now, especially from people like this, don't do it.
Yeah, it is. It's just terrible. I mean, and that's somebody coming in to buy a less expensive car. Maybe they don't have a lot of money, and you're just going to take $6,000 from them? I don't think so. I mean, I guess it's within their right to do it, but I would never do business.
It is.
I would never do business with that. Old Ben Franklin Motors. It's a stupid name anyway. And I guess they're a new car dealer. I guess it's a new car. I don't know. They have 35 of them for sale. So,
I wonder if anybody is actually buying them.
I think they might be stuck with them. They'll be having a fire sale with them, in another year or so. You can go and buy it for $10,000 brand new.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Terrible. Just a terrible thing. You know what, folks? Don't do it. I mean, as we say, if you don't have to buy a car right now,
don't do it.
Don't do it. Probably things will clean up a little bit in the beginning of the year. One of our automotive journalist friends has an older car, and he was so upset because somebody hit him coming out of his condo development, and the hit didn't look that bad. I mean, it was a broken headlight and some other trim pieces, but the insurance company wanted to total the car, and I said, keep the car, just fix what you have to, and nurse it through, and then decide what you want to do, because you don't want to buy a car right now. And it looked like maybe you could do a headlight and a grill, and have a hammer out the hood a little bit.
And what's going to be happening soon. I haven't read that it has, but it will. With all these new and used cars so overly priced, we're going to start seeing a lot of thefts of relatively recent model cars.
Interesting. Hey, you're listening to Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staub. He's Les Jackson. We are your on-air automotive magazine, taking you on a ride around the automotive industry. We are glad you are here. A lot to get to this hour. I think this is a trend, and we're going to see a lot more of it, Les Jackson. The Mercedes EQS, which is sort of their electric S-Series car, very high-tech, is going to offer rear wheel steering. And the interesting thing is, in certain areas of the world, they're going to offer it as an option, like you pay for it. And then in other parts of the world, they're talking about making it a subscription. So you would have to pay, let's say, $571 a year to have rear wheel steering, or perhaps you can get 3 years for a discounted rate of $1,376. This is something that was kind of started by Tesla, wasn't it? Where people would buy a car and it would be listed as having the self-driving capability. And then they would buy the car, and then guess what? It didn't have it, and they're like, "Oh, that doesn't go to the new owner," right?
Yeah, it's a way of not charging so much more money for the car new, but to sort of rent a feature seems to me to be kind of pointless.
Well, the other thing that people have said this might be applied to is autonomous cars. So you would only buy or activate the features because they'll have all the sensors built in.
Okay.
You'll only activate the features, let's say if you're in New York and you say, "Oh, I'm going to Florida. I'd like to use the autonomous feature so I can sleep in the car when level 5 autonomy happens. I want to use it while, I'm on a long trip. It's boring. We're driving across country. I'll just include that as part of my vacation cost." And then you would just activate it and deactivate it later on, almost like streaming services. Like you use, HBO Max or something for a couple of months, and then you say, "You know what? I don't want it, and I'm just going to deactivate it." It's happened in editing software that I use. It used to be you buy it, and then, okay, here's the upgrade. If you want the upgrade, it's a one-time fee. Now it is a subscription-based monthly cost, and you just pay it, and that's it. You get all the upgrades. So I think this will spread across the industry. I think it is an offshoot of Tesla, though, that started it. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. What do you think?
Well, we'll see how popular or unpopular it gets.
Now, rear wheel steering, they actually have 2 levels of it, 4.5 degrees and second 10 degrees. So I guess there's an upcharge to get more.
Wow.
Is this something somebody would really pop for? I don't know. Maybe maybe they do it for 1 year and see if they like it. I just think that's one of those features that you don't really know it's there, and you may not notice the difference with it or without it. So I don't know. It seems weird, and it's also going to mean the used car market will get even stranger because, as I say, these features may not come along when someone new purchases the car. So a lot of differences coming up in the auto industry. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. You're listening to Cruise Control. Check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. Got a lot going on there. Also, check out our YouTube page. Got a lot of videos and a lot more content, reviews. If in case you missed something, it's all up there. So, used car prices, Les. You said you were checking around at some of them, right?
I've been checking just for the heck of it. And I'm finding just absurd prices for, again, I've been looking at just very, very common middle-of-the-road cars, Toyota Camry, Mazda 6, Kia Optima. And I was, I realized that, that 1 or 2 year old ones are going quite high, but I went back to like 2014 and 2015. And these things are now priced close to 20,000.
Wow! I mean, and this how much mileage would they have on them?
With on average 60,000-70,000.
So they're a what would you say, a midlife car?
Yeah, but a year ago those cars would be 10,000, 11.
Okay. And so these things they continue to go up. It is pretty scary, actually. Remember, we said that Saturn had gone up 25%. There hasn't been a Saturn built in 10 years.
No, that's right. It's getting absurd.
Well, the average price, according to IC Cars, they did a study. I'm sorry, not IC Cars. They did a study as well, but this is an Associated Press study, which was published on July 21st, said the average price of a used car soared above $25,000 in June. That's
a lot.
That's a lot. And high mileage, it's hard to find high mileage vehicles under 15,000. Among franchise dealers, used car prices averaged $27,013 for vehicles with an average mileage of 62,427.
That's you're when you buy a used car, you're buying miles.
Yeah.
Per dollar. So you just can't throw that much money at it. A year ago, I was looking at a Kia Cadenza.
Right. That is sort of a car that's kind of forgotten, but it was a great car.
Yeah.
And a good used car, right?
And I saw some, like 2018s, for sale for less than 20,000. I looked at one yesterday at a 2018 with 30,000 miles, and they wanted 30,000.
Wow. How many miles?
30,000 miles.
Wow. Which they would consider low mileage.
Yeah, but that's going on 5 years old.
And Carvana was selling a used car every 2.5 minutes in the U.S. Imagine that. Imagine keeping track of all those transactions. That would drive you a little bit crazy, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah.
And they tend to be high priced.
High priced. The idea is, hey, they bring it to you, the car. If you can certainly look at it and say, I don't like it. And I guess you have to pay. I think you have to pay a couple of $100 for them to take it back. But still, makes it easy, and you're paying for the service. And supposedly they're hand-selected cars, but still, prices are crazy. Will this change? According to this article, they say yes, as the chips flow back into the market, as the demand reduces. We'll have to see. According to J.D. Powers, they say the high happened in April, and that it would probably drop about $3,000 in the upcoming months. We'll have to see. But if you don't need a car right now, don't buy a car.
Yeah, just don't buy it. Supply and demand. Certainly by this time next year, it'll be back to where it was.
Yeah. Exactly. Or maybe even better. Maybe people who have bought cars
maybe better.
But we're just trying to keep you aware here on Cruise Control. If you walk in and you say, what's going on? Remember, too, sometimes the new car can be less than the used car, which is just bizarre. But certainly, if it's less and it has no miles on it, it's going to be much better than a $30,000 car. So there you have it.
So true.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's talk about this, what's in a name. Actually, we'll do it after the break, so stay tuned to Cruise Control Radio. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. We will be right back, so stay tuned. More coming up. We're going to talk about alphanumeric names.
the years, Fred and I have certainly not made a secret of the fact that we consider alphanumeric names of vehicles to be confusing and sometimes even irritating.
Certainly confusing.
Yeah. So, interestingly, it's still a big deal with car companies, but there are now a couple companies that are going to use actual names again. Volvo is starting the way.
Yeah, Volvo's starting the way. I mean, this follows an announcement from Rivian Rivian, the new electric car manufacturer that has some very unique designs. They copyrighted names like R3S, R4S, R5S, R3T, R4T, R5T, R2R, R2X, and R1V.
And R2D2.
R2D2. RU1. Yeah. That just kind of illustrates the point. And it seems like a lot of electric vehicle manufacturers think you have to not have a name. Tesla, the Model 3, Model Y, all that. And it's kind of good to see that Cadillac is doing their Lyric, although I'm not a crazy lover of that Lyric name, but that's okay. It's a name, right?
It's okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Now, as you kind of telegraphed here, that Volvo, who has virtually always used numbers, their big cars were the P1800, the 240, the 780, the 850. Of course, they have the XC60, XC90 right now, T8, all that. They're going to be going away and going to regular names. They're going to start moving that. Now, this is a great bit of trivia, Les Jackson. Two non-alphanumeric names for Volvo vehicles from the past. What do you think a couple of them were?
Well, in England, they sold one of their models as the Amazon.
The Amazon.
Which I actually rode in one of those once.
You probably couldn't use that name today. I'm just thinking someone else might have that.
No, I think not.
And then the Duet, which was
that
called
one
the
I never heard.
PV445 in some. I wonder what is causing them to rethink this. I think it's good, though, because it's pretty confusing. I mean, it's funny. Theirs was a little less confusing than other models because X meant a SUV, and then they had numbers after it. But I think it's a good move. I hope they come out with cool names. I guess the main reason they did this is not letters and numbers are not offensive to anyone in different markets where it's sold. Nova,
True.
no-go, all that type of stuff.
Right.
But it's certainly, I always felt that a car name, an actual name, was better and more memorable.
It's an identity.
And a lot of them were made-up names. Chevelle, that
Sure.
doesn't mean anything. Camaro, they said, loosely meant friend. Mustang, obviously, we know what that means.
Right.
But Dodge,
Tornado and things like that were just made up.
how about Polara? Remember that? What did that mean?
Polara's
An acronym or something?
well, it's a star formation.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. And then Charger and Challenger, obviously, that's easy
Sure.
to think about. But I like the names, and I'm kind of glad to see them going back.
And then you got Kia with the Optima, well known, and they changed it to the K5.
Yeah, that is they are one company that kind of made the move to go to the names and letters. They're moving the opposite direction. So
I don't understand the logic.
no, I don't understand the logic either. But hey, it's not for us to understand. It's for us to report about it. And that's what we're going to continue doing.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, Les, we should talk about this. The Bolt EV fire risk.
Mm-hmm.
Told to park outside. They were recalled last November for fire risks, and there were 2 fires. Now, on Friday, they issued a new recall for 69,000 Bolt EVs because there are fire risks. They're worried that if you put it in the garage, it could burn your house down.
We actually got a little email from our insurance company that called our attention to this issue, just as a, like a public service announcement. They
Like
said
if you own
one of these, don't put it in your driveways. And I responded saying, thanks a lot, but you know what cars we own because you insure them. So why did you send this?
No response. I'm sure they're like, oh yeah, that's right.
No.
In a way, it's good, I guess. If you know someone that has a Bolt, you could say, hey, I just got this note. Did you know that it could be an issue, And the problem comes from apparently the LG batteries, and there were 2 defects in the same battery cell that could cause this battery fire. So they were urged not to park them inside. Kind of scary, I have to say.
That scares me. I have an LG microwave.
It doesn't have batteries in it. Is it a battery-powered microwave?
Well, you made a point.
Yeah. So there you have it. Now, let's look at a vehicle that I think is great and honors a great group of people. Special editions are really cool. And Ford has made a special edition to commemorate the Women's Air Force. They made a special edition Mach-E. And the Women's Air Force, they ferried fighters, B-17s, B-24s, B-25s, to different air bases into Europe in World War II. And they were great pilots, and they were not honored until later on with being active military and all that. And it's sad, I think, that when they came back, they probably were not allowed to be airline pilots, even though they were very experienced. Just one of the weird, sad things of the time. But Ford has come out with a special edition Mach-E to honor the Women's Air Force service pilots. And I think it's pretty cool. It's going to be available in or seen at the Experimental Aircraft Association Air Venture Show in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I love the shot of it with the restored B-17. That talk about a restoration job.
Oh, boy. I think beautiful. This is wonderful. I am very familiar with the women Air Force pilots. I've read a lot of history about them.
Mm-hmm.
And unsung heroes.
Yeah. Like I said, a lot of them came back after they finished their service. And you would think they'd be in line for pilot jobs, whether freight or airliners, and they probably could not get a job, which is sad. And they were a very experienced pilot. If someone with that kind of experience came in and said, I want to fly for Delta or American, you would think they'd be like, great, sit down, let's talk.
Sure. You'd think so.
Yeah. And say, what do you want to do? We want you. So don't leave without signing the employment papers. But
yep, multi-engine hours, all weather, boy.
Yeah, cross ocean, transoceanic. You would think they would be grabbed up and said, wow, you're not leaving here until we hire you. So, but different times, and not in a great way. But they did a great service, and we just love the fact that they did this to call it out to them. Cool car. I like the stripes. I like the stars and bars on the back too, and the women's Air Force service pilots. And why weren't they considered active military? They're flying military planes around, you know.
Well,
different times.
Different times.
Yeah. The same thing goes for the ladies that riveted together ships and welded stuff together and built things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they said they wanted to be a machinist when the war was over and they were very experienced, and anyone else with that experience would be like welcome, they probably were not welcome. So different times. But let's move on and talk a little bit about some of the vehicles that will be revealed at the New York Auto Show. Here's a teaser photo for you. You know just what that is, don't you? What is that? You know what it is? It's the 2022 WRX, which will debut at the New York International Show on August 19th. That's all we know. It's just
well,
we see the roof and some dirt.
That's it. You better wear something easy to clean.
It literally is just a car. It almost looks like a stock photo, doesn't it? Like, give me a shot of a car driving in the desert. But but that's all we have. So that's all you can talk about. A little bit more here on this car. This is the Elantra N, which I think a lot of people are excited about. And you can see a little bit more detail in there. Good-looking car, nice-looking wheels. I love the big rear exhaust. I know you like the rear wing, don't you?
Of course.
So that's going to be revealed on August 19th at 12:45 p.m. 2-liter turbocharged, what they call flat power, tuned engine. Delivers 276 horsepower. Available high-speed performance, 8-speed wet dual-clutch transmission. And here comes standby for some manufacturer speak. Elantra N synthesizes the new amalgam of racetrack performance and daily practicality. There it is.
Okay.
I missed that talk.
Well, yeah. But, you know, they are calling our attention to certain features.
Yeah. But interesting. We'll have a lot from the New York Auto Show coming up in August. A lot of different events and a lot of different reveals. And I'm sure we'll get some great guests on Cruise Control to talk about it. So when we come back, I am going to have an at-the-wheel review of a vehicle that is an MPV. It would like to be an SUV. It's the Kia Carnival. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is none other than Les Jackson. We've got a cool review of the Kia Carnival. This is funny. When the driver brought this vehicle to me, he said, it's funny, I just filled it up with gas, and somebody was asking, what is it? And he said, man, that looks badass. Do you think a minivan has ever been described as badass?
I doubt it. Certainly, no.
Okay. But it's certainly, they don't want, it's the conundrum here is, it's sort of like you've got to be looking like something else. I mean, this replaces Kia Sedona. The Sedona, they did try to make that minivan look more like an SUV. They squared the front off. They made a higher hood. They even talked about it. I think I was on the reveal event for that. But really what it was not a class-leading minivan. It was a cost-leading minivan, meaning that it was just a good value. You got a good price on it. You got a good coverage from the Kia warranty, but it didn't really stand out. It didn't have great power. It didn't, it was good, but it just wasn't a standout feature. And of course, Toyota and Chrysler and others that built minivans had the more advanced minivans. Well, Kia has restyled this vehicle, and they did this in the back. It kind of looks like a minivan. It's got a cool light bar across the back, but from the side profile, it looks more like, I would say, an SUV. I mentioned it looks like a Ford Expedition. It looks sort of like a Ford Flex. But it's got all the cool features of a minivan, even though it's an MPV, multi-purpose vehicle. You can fold the seats back, and then you pull up a handle after you pull the strap to fold them back, and they fold into that sort of that pit, which is great. It does not have, though, the seats in the front just don't disappear like the stow-and-go seats that you would find in a Pacifica, but you do get a lot of storage area. It's got the traditional sliding rear doors. The seats fold down flat in the back, and they fold down with a thunk, which one hit me on the head, which was not too fun. But the interior is wonderful. Ours had this kind of orangey color leather, but beautiful detail from the folks at Kia. Lots of piano block trim, lots of muted wood trim on the dash. They just do such a good job with their interiors. Nice integration of the touchscreen display. In the back, you can listen to sounds of nature. Mine favorite was cricket conversations. Oh, there's the seat going down. Thunk. It hits you in the head. Everyone gets a cup holder. Everyone gets a USB port for charging things up. And then one of the things about this is every Carnival comes with a 3.5-liter V6 with an 8-speed automatic powertrain, best-in-class 290 horsepower, class-leading torque, 262 pound-feet. A lot of people like that on the road a lot better than, let's say, a Turbo 4, which is found in some of Toyota's offerings. I liked it on the road, Les Jackson. One reviewer, I watched a review on the web, and they got it all wrong. They said, this doesn't drive like a minivan at all. And I thought, wrong. This does drive like a minivan, and that's a good thing because minivans drive really well. And they said it drove more like an SUV. Wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Some SUVs don't drive very well. But if you look at the side silhouette of this vehicle, it does look like an SUV. The only giveaway is the rear door handles are up close to the driver's side door handles. And they've done a lot to make it like an SUV. Of course, the nose is higher. It is more hood-like. But on the side, they've done a lot. By the way, it has the new Kia logo. This is the new Kia logo. that will be on all of Kia's vehicles going forward. It's the first Kia vehicle I had. You notice the C-pillar. They've done a unique treatment with these diamonds in it. And they said highlighting the C-pillar makes it seem more like a SUV for some reason. I guess they did some study on this. I love the gray paint and the black wheels. I think that was really a nice look for the vehicle. But Best in Class describes it all. Best in Class passenger room and space for 8 occupants. Passenger room 168 feet. Best in Class cargo room, even more cargo room than a Chevy Suburban. Cargo room 145.1 feet. I told you about the engine. Best in Class power. Accelerates to 60 miles an hour in 7.4 seconds, which is better than the Toyota Sienna. Pulls 0.87 G on the skid pad, which is interesting. I wouldn't really take it on the skid pad. It has standard forward collision avoidance, blind spot collision warning, rear cross traffic collision warning, and collision avoidance, parking distance warning reverse, lane departure, lane follow assist, driver attention warning, high beam assist. It goes on and on and on. It had that great feature where you're at a stoplight, the person in front of you moves, you get a note in the IP that says, hey, the car in front of you in the stack, as they call it, has moved. So, it is a good feature. I said before, it compares with the Chrysler Pacifica, the Chrysler Voyager, the Honda Odyssey, and the Toyota Sienna. I think the one thing it doesn't have and is stow and go, and that's the one thing I missed, because I think that's great to be able to put all your seats down and then they all hide away. Remember the original minivans where you had to move all those seats, the rear seats, and you had to put them in your garage or in your living room floor.
Oh, yeah.
And those were heavy seats. Yeah, it was definitely not fun. Well, let's talk about the numbers on this vehicle. And once again, ours was in ceramic silver. Beautiful color. Loved it a lot. It actually had some metallic nature to it. Normally, it doesn't have that. And a Tuscan umber interior. Let's talk about the options in that. And once again, you're buying a Kia, so everything is included. Surround sound monitor, dual screen rear entertainment system. You could get Netflix on that, and Twitch, which is really cool, or listen to the cricket conversations, which I liked a lot. 19-inch black alloy wheels. This is all included. Roof rack, projection LED fog lights, parking collision avoidance, memory driver seat, ventilated front seats, driver seat lumbar support, power passenger seat, additional USB ports, the new cup holders. The more USB ports that you have, the better, right?
Of course.
The only upcharge was $495 for that ceramic silver paint. Which is become fairly common to get an upcharge for that, for neat paint, upcharge paint. So the manufacturer suggested retail price is $41,100. You add in the paint, it's $41,595. Freight and handling, $1,175. $42,770. And mileage, not that bad. 22 is the average, 19 city, 26 highway. Big vehicle to drive around, but that is the Kia Carnival. You can also get a version with 2 Barco loungers in the back. and this apparently, Les just says he's interested. This is apparently the executive vehicle in South Korea. You put them in the back, they can recline. There's plenty of room. It's almost like driving in a bubble. That's what I likened it to. It's like one of those old Bell helicopters that you have a bubble around you. Great visibility. As I said, it drives like a minivan, and that's a good thing. It does not drive like an SUV, and that's a good thing. I think it's a great vehicle to their lineup. I think it should proudly say, I am a minivan, and I am the best-in-class minivan in many ways, but it's called an MPV, a multiple-purpose vehicle, the Kia Carnival. That's the at-the-wheel review of that, Les Jackson. So, hey, we just want to say thank you for watching the show on YouTube and on Facebook. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, where you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out the YouTube page, Instagram, and more. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.
Cruise Control Radio is your on-air automotive magazine. Go to www.cruisecontrolradio.com for more information.